There he is. For those that may not know him, he graduated from the Art Center College of Design with an emphasis in entertainment design back in 2003. And although he is new to LifeVantage, he's been with us for the last 7 months. He joined us in March. He comes to us with over 22 years of network marketing and direct selling experience. So it's great to have someone that's got that wealth of experience and knowledge joining us today. Alongside that journey, he's obviously been one of the top builders and income earners in his previous companies. He's an avid fan of all things Star Wars, Marvel, Lego, and collectibles. And he loves to modify, customize, and competes and races with his cars. So we're super excited to have him join us today. So please give a warm Australian and New Zealand welcome to Daniel Song. Daniel, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on today. Kat, thank you so much for inviting me. I know in a better scheduled circumstance, I would love the excuse to come visit you guys. I had a fortunate privilege of visiting New Zealand a few years ago, one of probably the most beautiful places I've been to, minus some of the scary spiders that I see in Australia. Because I do see those on social media videos and they do scare the heck out of me. I do hope that we get an opportunity to come visit you guys. But in the meantime, we get this wonderful technology to be able to connect. I'm excited to be here. I just wanted to share a little bit with you guys. As Kat said, I've been a part of this LifeVantage family now going into my 8th month, and it's been an incredible, incredible ride. And my job today is to kind of share with you something, a concept that I shared here in the US as we were preparing for our GLP-1 product launch. I know that's kind of around the corner for you guys, but it might be something that you want to kind of file away in your head because very few opportunities do you get where you get to kind of see the self-evidence of success and momentum and growth and then say, we have the opportunity to kind of do that all over here. You know what I mean? So I want to kind of give you a sort of a look into the near future of the opportunity that's in front of you, and really share with you which teams and which groups are obviously able to leverage the success and the growth and the excitement more than other groups here in the US. And that's going to be determined on what you guys decide to do over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 months leading to the launch of that product. And that concept is something that I call the momentum multiplier. And the reason why I like talking about this is because momentum is sort of like it's like gravity, right? We all understand that gravity exists. We're just not sure how to fully articulate that, right? Like, of course, scientists can do it, but for us in general, we know gravity exists. We just can't see it. We can't necessarily touch it or feel it. So momentum is the same thing. As entrepreneurs, and especially as network marketers, you hear the big M or momentum, and you're like, yes, I want momentum. But like, what does that really mean for you? And the best way I try to illustrate what momentum looks like, this invisible force, is to use a little bit of numbers. Okay. So again, I just want you guys to just kind of bear with me. This is not exact science, so I don't want you guys to start coming up with formulas and writing down numbers. But I am going to give you some numbers to help illustrate what momentum really looks like. Okay. So think of it as a multiplier, right? So whatever you want to put behind that multiplication number, let's just, for the sake of argument, let's call it a 5x multiplier. That's what momentum is. The force of momentum is going to 5x anything that you do. So if you have, hypothetically, these are just arbitrary numbers, let's say you have a consultant group of 10 people. When momentum hits everybody, and again, as long as you're actively a part of the organization, when momentum shows up, it shows up for everybody at the same time, believe it or not. And it's going to 5x whatever you have in front of you, right? Again, 5x is the arbitrary number we've assigned right now. So if you have a group of, let's say, 10 consultants in your group, you can expect that to go to 50x, right? Because it's multiplying it by 5. Let's say you have 10 customers. Now you're going to 50x customers, right? Let's say you have a team of 2 people. That's going to go 10x. You're going to have 10 consultants. And so that's why sometimes when you do see companies and people and organizations talking about momentum and you look across the board and you're like, well, I feel like some groups are really seeing massive growth and massive like opportunities. And for some reason, I feel like I'm not seeing that same result. I'm not seeing that same level of growth. Well, I think the real audit that we need to do is to ask ourselves, how much did we contribute before momentum came into play, right? Because you can't really do it after momentum is here because it multiplies instantly, right? And so the way I try to tell the US consultants, because let me back up a little bit quickly. As Kath kind of mentioned, I've been in direct sales and network marketing now for almost 22 years. Okay. I got started right outside of college. I couldn't find a sustainable financial opportunity. Yes, I was in entertainment design, but I graduated specializing in 2D illustration. And everybody, when I graduated in 2003, they were only hiring 3D artists. I didn't learn any 3D software. I didn't know how to do CGI. I didn't know VFX. So I was basically graduating from one of the top design schools in our country with a skill set that wasn't desirable at the time. And so I had this massive student loan debt, really a very bleak outlook on the job market. And I was introduced to network marketing. And so fast forward, right before I joined LifeVantage, I was a part of a company for almost 11 years doing weight loss. So I know how incredibly powerful weight loss was. And so when I originally came to, and I was in a position, I'm not going to go through that story today, but I was in a place in my life where I knew that I was looking for a new home for multiple different reasons. And our good friend, I think some of you guys know him, Jake Hines, because I believe he was the RVP. He may still be like the vice president over Australia. Yeah, so he's still good. So Jake is a dear friend of mine, and I've known him for probably 5+ years. Jake had reached out and said, Daniel, I know I can't convince or coerce you into anything. I know you make your own decisions, but I would love to share what we're doing here at LifeVantage. And so literally about a year ago today. And it was so funny because I know Jake was actually either in the Philippines or he may have been in Australia this time last year, but he literally flew back right after Thanksgiving, right before Thanksgiving. He spent Thanksgiving at home, and I flew into the corporate office, I think on November 27th, something like that. It was like 2 days after Thanksgiving. And that's when I first came in to be introduced to LifeVantage. And of course, he showed me all the incredible things LifeVantage has already done. He showed me Pro Tandem, all the incredible products, the liquid collagen, all this exciting stuff that LifeVantage had already done. And I asked Jake one simple question. I said, Jake, that's awesome. I can see that the company has done $200 million plus or minus a little bit over the last like 10 or 12 years. And for me as an entrepreneur, Jake, I have one real hard, like serious question for you. Is there a opportunity for a new guy like me to join LifeVantage today and still get to participate in some form of growth, right? We all know as entrepreneurs, there comes time of growth and a season of maintenance and a season of, saturation. And, there are other companies out there. I'm not going to name names, but, they're great companies, but you're probably not going to grow very much with those companies because those companies have probably hit saturation, meaning they've kind of plateaued off. And so that's kind of financially what I was seeing when I was looking at the financial records of LifeVantage. I saw a company that had kind of plateaued. And I said, look, this doesn't speak ill of the products or the quality and the history and the legacy here, but is there an opportunity for me here? And that's when he had me sign some NDAs and he said, hey, we're working on a few things. I can't share much, but maybe the team will. And that's when they showed me that they were working on a weight loss product. And for me, that was one of the three big reasons why I said yes. Part of it was, of course, Steve and the corporate team's sort of commitment to evolve, not only the compensation plan, but really just to create a much more meaningful and more relevant opportunity for us globally here at LifeVantage. That commitment was powerful. I mean, there was a lot of other things, but this idea that LifeVantage was working in a specific weight loss or weight management category product really got me excited because again, that's where I was for 11, 12 years. We saw explosive growth, explosive income. You guys know leaders like Tara Wilson, Pekarik. I mean, these people have also been a part of it. I mean, there are people that can like talk about some of the explosive potential of weight loss. Now, let me explain just before I go back into the momentum multiplier, why weight loss, right? Because some of us, it may not be the most relevant category for us. Like, I mean, if you look at me, I weight loss, I wasn't exactly the poster child for a weight loss story. I weigh about 134 US pounds and I went on the products and I still weigh about 129. I'm not exactly the weight loss poster child. So why would I be so excited about this opportunity? Here's the reason why. Number one, weight loss is a problem that is very self-evident around the world, right? And in sales, we always say that when the problem is clear, then the solution becomes easier to talk about, right? And if you look at like, for example, products like Pro Tandem. And I know, again, I got to tread on water very carefully here because Pro Tandem is like the grail product for everybody. I love Pro Tandem, by the way. But it isn't like, I mean, if you think about it this morning, as people are starting to wake up in Australia and New Zealand, how many people do you think woke up today, looked themselves in the mirror and said, oh my God, I got to do something about my free radicals. It is out of control. Like, how many people do you think where free radical or oxidative stress is a self-evident problem? Not very many people. I'm gonna take a wild bet that there was zero people that woke up this morning and on their own accord decided to think to themselves, I gotta do something about my oxidative stress today, right? Not very many people. Now, once you've become educated and shown the ABC primetime video or other pieces of literature and other pieces of evidence, once you educate people, then the problem becomes obvious and then the solution becomes a good sell, right? And Protandem has done that. But weight loss is one of those things where we get to bypass three or four of those steps. You don't have to convince people that obesity and health epidemics related to weight loss is a current issue in the world. I mean, it's self-evident. And the dollar signs, the amount of money, I mean, in the US alone, weight loss, both in medical, pharmaceutical, nutritional, and as just consumer products like Peloton bicycles and treadmills and gym memberships, like it's over $1 trillion industry just in the United States alone. So you look at that and you just understand how big of a sector this is. And while I talk about weight loss being self-evident, we also know, because a lot of you guys are on social media, you guys know that social media is a very highly congested and competitive space. Now, it's a wonderful way to connect. It's a wonderful way to reach out to a larger audience, but we also have to admit social media has gotten very exhausting, right? I mean, in the United States, we just got out of a massive political election. I mean, it doesn't matter how whatever your opinions are, but the noise on social media is insane. And, the latest viral videos, Hollywood celebrity trends, new movies, politics, whatever it is, it's just all over social media. So how do you, and I know a lot of us do this in Life Vantage, we're curating these amazing posts about our health, posts about our friends' health, posts about antioxidants and free radical damages and all this other stuff. And we're spending all this time creating beautiful photos, writing up a really great caption. And here's the hard, sobering truth. People spend less than half a second on your post. They're scrolling right past that stuff. And you're like, I've spent 20, 30 minutes of my life trying to create this beautiful post, and you're telling me people are spending less than a half a second? And the answer is yes, because you're guilty of doing it too. You're on social media just swiping past, scrolling past things. And it really takes a lot for someone to stop on a photo and say, wait, what is that? You know what I mean? And if you can get them to stop even for 1 second, that's a win on social media. That's the competition. That's the congestion. That's the scroll stopping behavior you need. And I'm telling you right now, like, products that create what I call vanity wellness that you can see, right? Now, there's a lot of wellness that you can't see, but it's good for you. You can get blood drawn, you can get labs done, and you can definitely see that it's working for you. But that's wellness that you can't just share on social media, because unless you have documentation to prove it, people just are not going to stop the scroll. You know what I mean? But weight loss is one of those categories that if you post up a compelling before and after photo, you'll just stop even for a half a second and say, what is that? Oh my God, what is that person doing? And it may not be ultimately the final solution for you, but it will get you to stop. And so that scroll stopping behavior, that type of power that you have on social media, coupled with the fact that this is a self-evident problem that sells itself, you can understand why I get excited about weight loss. And here I was for almost 8 months under an NDA. I can't say anything. We're building organization, building teams. I'm talking about the momentum multipliers. People in the US think I'm like a crazy lunatic. They're like, why is this new guy, Daniel, absolutely like just screaming at the top of the lung about how great this opportunity is? And on October 11th, you guys know we launched that product in the United States. We had waiting queues over 100,000 customers. We crashed the website. We took inventory that was supposed to last us all the way through the New Year's, and we blew through that inventory in 3 weeks. We're just about to get new stock, and there's even threats that that stock might be out of stock before. I mean, things are just absurdly great, right? And but here's the thing, not everyone's business blew up to that certain level. And this is where momentum multiplier comes into place. It's not what happened after October 11th. It's studying and looking at what the groups did before October 11th. So giving you a little bit of data, I was a lucky part of 55 consultant groups that got to be a part of the human trial group here at LifeVantage. The US groups, they selected 55 people that went to the Rise Era retreat, and we were given a white label sample of the product that we could start using. And we were put into a small WhatsApp group, and we were sharing results and tips. And we were and of course, corporate was also collecting our data and photos to create assets and videos and training videos. But during this time, 55 individuals got on the product. Now, not all 55 had amazing before and after photos because some of us clearly were not, again, in a position to lose a lot of weight. But nonetheless, 55 of us did. And out of 55, we probably cultivated 20 or 30 really incredible stories, 10 or 15 average stories, and maybe five or four that were like other benefits. Like in my case, like I noticed better sleep, I noticed better energy. I did notice my food noise and food cravings going down, but I didn't necessarily see weight on a scale going down, if that makes sense, right? So collectively, we had 20 or 30 really great before and after photos. Those photos starting to circulate on social media 2 to 3 weeks before October 11th, that's all the excitement the company needed to sell through the inventory in 3 weeks. Like imagine that for a second. 20 some odd stories selling all the inventory that we had in the United States that was supposed to last us 4 to 5 months in 3 weeks, right? So imagine what happens at the time that you guys are now in a position to be able to now talk about this. Because not only do you have the local groups that you can talk about, but you can now lean into the stories that have already been happening in the United States for the last 4 or 5 or 6 months by the time you guys get the product, right? So you're going to have that much more story and content to share, that much more data to share, that much more clinical data to share. You are in an incredibly more explosive situation for yourself right now. But here's the thing again, what did the groups that saw the biggest momentum multiplier hit, what did they do before October 11th? And here's the simple answer, and it's going to sound pretty obvious, but again, I'm going to go back to the illustration of the momentum multiplier. It's the people that took a little bit of effort to build their consultant base before the product launched. Because it's so typical and so common in with human behavior to say, I'll do the work once the product is here. I cannot wait till the products are here. Oh man, once the GLP-1 mind body system is here, I'm going to get loud on social media. Once I have the products in my hand, oh man, I'm going to take my health seriously. Oh man, once I get the products, now I'm going to start sharing with my friends. And those are the people that are waiting till the products are here. And that's fine. There's a lot of life agents in the United States that did that. They waited till October 11th. They waited till they got to Kansas City. They got the products and then they started to build their business. But those people were experiencing a different momentum than the people that built it before. People knew the products were coming. They just lent their trust and belief to the top people that were talking about how, like Tara was talking about how great this was going to be. Rachel was talking about how great this was going to be. The Pose were talking about it. I mean, a lot of us were talking about how big this was going to be. And some people connected the dots and said, oh my God, there probably is something to this. And they began to go to work. And that was the exciting part. A lot of the groups that saw the biggest growth in the company were groups that were growing in August and September leading up to the launch of that product. And those are groups that were building it with not new products, but with the existing products, the same products that you guys currently have. So again, I know it's easy to say, well, you know what, we got college and we got Protando. I wish we had the GLP-1, then my business would be growing. I'm telling you right now, going back historically, the teams that saw the biggest growth built with the existing products they had. Now, they sold the excitement of what was coming, and yes, we focused in on people like activating their body through oxidative stress, activating their body through liquid collagen, activating their body in different ways. And I'll talk a little bit about that and how to use the multiplier. But they said the right messaging and got people to engage before the product launched. And so again, going back to it, if you have a current team size of 10 and the momentum multiplier is 5x, when that product launches, then you go from 10 to 50. But what happens if you spend the next 3, 4, 5 months? I don't know exactly when the schedule of the launch of the product is in your market, but let's say you take the effort to start building the team now. And instead of 10 on that launch date, let's say you have a team of 50. Now that's only 40 more people, but the 50 multiplied by 5 means your group explosively grows to 250 consultants or 250 customers, not 50 people total. You've 5x and literally it's exponential growth at that point. And so that's why it feels like some groups are absolutely crushing it. And at the same time, you're looking around maybe your area going, well, I don't feel momentum. I don't get it. All these people are talking about momentum, but I'm frustrated because I don't see it. And in many cases, it's because of what you did the weeks leading up or the months leading up to that launch. Again, I always say momentum isn't sort of discriminatory. Momentum doesn't just selectively choose people. Momentum chooses the groups that have built a larger first base number for it to then multiply. Does that make sense? And so that's what we mean by the multiplier effect. I had the fortunate privilege, as I sat down with Kristen Cunningham and the sales team, And I said, hey guys, like they said, Daniel, what are some of the things that you did to just like exponentially build your business in the past? Like, what were some of those things? And I said, well, one of the things in LifeVantage is it takes time once you enroll a customer, enroll a new member. It takes a little bit of time for that product to be dispatched to you or to be delivered to you. And again, every region is a little bit different. Like I know my partners in Canada, I always joke with them, Canada's shipping is so efficient that their shipping is actually faster than the United States. And that's rare, right? So I joke around, like I can enroll a consultant in Canada and a consultant in the United States, and my Canadian consultant will get their products at the doorstep faster than we will get products at our doorstep, right? But other than that variable, people are waiting to experience the products. Now, keep in mind, they trusted you, they signed up, they've given you the credit card, you've enrolled them, but they have not yet tried the product. So, product belief is non existent. And it's going to be very hard for you to convince somebody to start sharing about something that they have not yet built belief around. But imagine, like just hypothetically imagine, what happens if you're able to sit down with a potential prospect today, have coffee with them, have lunch with them, sit down with them during holiday parties, and to be able to share like that product with them today. They say they're interested, they purchase, they enroll. But what if you had the ability to actually physically slide a physical product across their hands and put a product in their hands today? That now expedites the process by 3 or 4 or 5 days, depending on how long shipping takes, and you can start duplicating your business in a quicker and more efficient way. And so what this multiplier pack is, and the contents of the multiplier pack are not the important part. Well, it sort of is, because they're clearly trying to put the products that are most demonstrable and most experiential in those packs. Like if you notice, we're not giving you three of Pet Tandem or three of the random, you know what I mean? Like we're trying to give you products that we believe people can truly experience and see a difference in 3 to 5 days. That's the whole point. If we're going to save you and try to expedite the product belief by 3 to 5 days, then it also makes sense to give you products that you can experience in 3 to 5 days, right? That would only make sense. And so we took the best activators that LifeVantage has and put them into these multiplier packs. And so in the United States, and the concept works exactly the same. A cat sent over basically the contents of your multiplier pack. You're taking your key activators, your most experiential, most demonstrable products, and putting multiples of three into a pack. And what do you do with that? Well, in the United States, this is what we used to do. When I would order a multiplier pack, obviously one of each of those products is my own, right? Because as a consultant, it would make sense for me to experience and activate my own body. Like, how could I go out there and promote something I've never tried? It would sound silly, right? So one set of products is clearly for me. But the second and third set, there's two ways you can think of it. If it's like for some people, they build with a spouse, right? So it could be a husband and wife's kit, a boyfriend and girlfriend's kit, whatever it is. And that third kit becomes what I call revolving inventory. And I'll explain what that means, right? Or if it's just you by yourself doing it, then you have two kits that are designed to be revolving inventory. So again, one of the multiples of three is for yourself, and two of every product you put into separate like kits, just like the way you did it. And when you sit down with somebody and get them excited about either activating their body as a consultant or as a customer, you have the ability to slide across the table the Pro Tandem, the Axio, whatever it is, like the collagen across the table and say, hey, you can start your product journey today. Now, let me give you a couple like guidelines. Number one, do this only with people you know, please. Like you're not, and again, this only works when you kind of have the interaction in person. Because if you're doing a Zoom call, let's say hypothetically this was an opportunity call, and let's say I did the presentation for you guys, and Judith or let's say Andrea decided to sign up today. Well, by the time I ship your order, well, that doesn't make sense because you would have probably got your product in the same shipping day. So this is if I, for example, I said, hey, Christine, you want to grab a cup of coffee with me? I have something exciting that I want to meet with you, and let's just have lunch or whatever it is, right? Hey, Sarah, do you think you could get together today for lunch or tomorrow, whatever? It's designed for those impromptu, in-person type of opportunity meetings. Or if you do home parties, right? Invite a couple people to your home. They take a look at the opportunity. They're like, you know what, Daniel, I'm ready to do this. I'm excited. I want to be a customer. I'm so excited for you. Here are some of the products. Let me show you how it works. Better yet, let me get these products so that you can start. And the reason why I say people that you can trust is because it requires a little bit of trust, because I'm going to physically hand Christine the products today. Obviously, I'm going to enroll Christine today, but I'm going to ask that when Christine's products show up, that she returns back the products that she used. Not the empty ones, but she's going to hand me for 30 days of collagen back, a brand new bottle of protein back. So that's what I mean by revolving inventory. You're never going to have inventory that expires because you're always getting rid of your current inventory for the newest inventory, getting rid of your current inventory for you. So it's a constant revol. If you're doing it properly, it should constantly be cycling in and out. You know what I mean? And that's the beautiful part because again, by doing this process, you're physically putting products into people's hands quicker. So you're expediting the 3 to 4 days to get quicker product stories and belief. Um, and people are going to ask, like, Daniel, does that really add up to a massive difference? Now, again, let's say out of every 3 people you enroll and do this process, let's say one person doesn't take it that seriously. They still take 2 or 3 days to start consuming the products. They're, you know what, that person, it was never going to be a loss. They were going to get it in 4 days anyways. They got started in 3 to 4 days. It's a net neutral proposition. But you're gonna have people, and this also happens on the mind body GLP-1 system, people that are not necessarily seeing massive weight loss in 3 or 4 days, but what they're noticing is small body changes. They're seeing maybe 2 pounds coming off the scale, or their food noise being curbed, or some minor difference, which is enough for them to get excited. And now they're beginning to share these stories, and now they're able to enroll customers and consultants. Whereas another team is barely getting their products to their doorstep, you have a team that's already starting to talk about the products and the opportunity with their friends by the time other people are just barely getting products. And even though that doesn't sound like a big difference, I mean, you guys know this business is a game of inches. It's not about what you can do massively different than everybody else. It's about how you can do little things a little bit better than everybody else. I always say, here's the masses. If this is the masses, success is not like someone that's the outliers are not far out there, right? The outliers are just outside the circle of the common people that are just doing the common things maybe 1 or 2% better than everybody else. That's it. That's what really success looks like. And so by optimizing and making these little things a little bit more efficient, now your business is going to move at a more favorable thing. And you guys have all heard this too. How you get started is typically how you duplicate things. If you notice, if you got started on small, very small, minimal packs, you're going to typically sign up minimal, small packs. If you notice that there are teams out there that are very confident and their posture's there and they sell the big packs, then they're really good at signing up other people on the big packs. Number one, because your posture is there. But number two is a lot of times your friend's going to look across and say, Sarah, what did you get started with? Oh man, when I got started, man, the multiplier was brand new. I got started with the multiplier. Oh, well, maybe I want the same thing. Rarely is someone going to ask you what you did. And you're like, finances were a little challenging. So I bought the smallest pack. I just got one bottle of Protandim and I did get started. They're not going to look at you and say, well, get me that multiplier pack. They're going to probably say, well, I'll get started with a Pro Tandem too. Because again, in their mind, they're saying, well, if that worked for you, then it should work for me. Does that make sense? So you're also setting the pace for duplication that's obviously advantageous for volume, advantageous for duplication, advantageous for speed and optimized growth, right? So many things that are favorable when it comes to the multiplier pack, right? So again, do it with people you trust. It's much more efficient to do it when you're encouraged to do it in person over like Zooms and online presentations. Because obviously, again, if you have to ship them the products, it kind of defeats the purpose of the multiplier. But if you are in a position to, and if you even haven't done so, I would encourage us. I mean, like I've been encouraging my teams, like we got to get back. I mean, like, knock on wood, but COVID's like 4 years behind us, right? We got to get back to a place where, yes, we use high technology to do like trainings like this, but we got to, I always say it's like the business is a balance of high touch and high tech, right? Like you can't do this whole network marketing business online. Like part of this works because of the networking and relationships and the friendships that are forged, and it works better in person. And so I would encourage people get comfortable doing home parties or small little group gatherings in your living room, or getting together with people for a cup of coffees and see what that does for your business. And so the momentum multiplier with the current, obviously the products that you have incredible ways to build stories on the collagen and the Protandim. One of the languaging that was really powerful is, we said you're priming your body. So as you guys get closer, let's say you're 30, 60 days out from when the GLP-1 product will launch for your market, that's when you really need to start hammering down on the language. Hey, I mean, at some point, again, Kath will probably have the information for you guys at some point, but when you know that GLP-1 product is launching, and again, I'm going to give you a hypothetical date. Like, let me make it very clear. This is not the date. I don't know the date. But let's say hypothetically that date was, let's say, March, right? Let's say. Well, you clearly want to take advantage of 1 or 2 months before that happens. You want to start really going out there and trying to build your groups, both customers and consultant groups. And the languaging that we use, the 55 individuals that help really blow up the United States, the languaging we used was very simple. Get started on the Kickstart or get started on whatever that pack looks like. In your case, I think it looks like it's like ProBio, ProTandem, Axio, and Collagen. Like, hey, like you need to get out there and prime your body. And the keyword is prime to be optimized for our new weight loss products. You get what I said there? I didn't say, hey, let's wait till the MB products show up and then you can activate your body through Protandim, activate your body through collagen, and activate your body through GLP-1. I didn't say that because then everybody's just going to wait. They're going to wait till the products are available. I say, let's prime your body so that it's optimized for the weight loss product once it arrives. Then now mentally, I've turned it into a two-part process. And this is not just sort of marketing wordplay. This is actually factual for a lot of people. You guys know that when your body is in a straight state of stress, your body is more reluctant to let go of fat. Very simply said. Okay, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, but there's a lot of people here in the United States that have already confirmed this. Some of the smart people on the scientific advisory board that have already talked about kind of what's happening at the most cellular level. But basically, when your body is in a state of stress, like again, our fight or flight sort of kind of simple primal mindset says that when we're in a state where we believe we're under threat, your body wants to conserve energy. It does not want to get rid of the fat because fat is considered energy. It's stored energy. And so the body's thinking, oh my God, we're never going to eat for the next 3 or 4 months. We better save all of this. And it's going to fight you on releasing the fat. So if you're starting day one of your mind body GLP-1 system on that mindset where your body is in a state of stress, what do you think your results are going to look like versus somebody who's already broken that stress cycle? And you guys already know the science behind Protandim and what it's designed to do. And then you optimize that further by combining Protandim with collagen, where the synergistic benefits are even more made incredible. Well, then you can, like I said, I mean, we haven't done the clinical studies, but I'm sure if we got 200 people in a room that were priming their bodies versus 200 people that were not priming their bodies and got all 400 people on the mind body GLP-1 system, I think you guys would agree with me, even as non-scientists, you're going to see probably slightly better results in one group versus another. And that's kind of what we're seeing, people that are getting great stories out of the groups that we're priming. So not only priming for the business, but also priming for results. Because this is a result driven business. When you start to cultivate stories that are 10%, 20%, 30% more powerful, it becomes fuel for your business. Then you get more customers that are curious, more consultants that are curious. And that starts to create this like vortex experience where people inevitably feel like they have to ask about these products. It's so funny, like Jake's wife, obviously as part of the policies of the company, like if you're part of the corporate company, you can't technically participate on the consultant side. Jake's like, it's crazy, Daniel. Like, I have my wife's friends all asking her like how they can get a hold of the products because their vortex is growing. So, like, as we're like 1 degree friendships or 2 degrees, they're kind of seeing content showing up on their social media. Like, that's how prevalent this is becoming. So that vortex is going to grow for you guys, and you also have the advantage of leaning into the vortex that's already started in the United States. And so this is just again one of those rare opportunities where not only do you have a product that, again, I talked about at the top of this call being very self-evident, the problems are very self-evident, it's very visual, it's vanity wellness, it's the type of post that people crave and will stop to watch on social media. So we talked about that. Then we talked about the fact that you're not talking, as I talked to you guys about the excitement of GLP-1, I'm not talking about this as like a crazed lunatic. Like I sounded like a lunatic 8 months ago, but today it's not you don't sound crazy now because we saw it happen in the United States. And to me, the most exciting part is to see the next wave of things happen, right? The next wave. Like I just got back. I think Kath asked me like a month ago, like, oh, can you come out? And I'm like, I'm actually in the Philippines right now. Like my travel schedule has been absolutely like bonkers, like crazy. And I love it. I absolutely think it's a blessing. But the crazy part was, I had the same conversation with some of our consultants in the Philippines. I said, guys, inevitably this product's going to come here to the Philippines. Now you have two choices. You can sit back and wait till the product arrives. You can say, well, Daniel, it's the holidays. It's kind of hard to build. Daniel, it's like, there's no exciting new product, so I don't want to build. I'll wait. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with waiting. But I do believe you're gonna like, I'm telling you right now, even for me, I have groups within my own teams that now regret that they waited till October 11th to start building a business. because I have some incredible leaders that went on some incredible rank advancements, but they know in the back of their mind, they know that had they put in a little bit more work in October, I mean in August and September, they know that that rank advancement would have been a much, much greater. They know. It's like a so there are people that are dealing with a little bit of the regret. The good part is it's kind, we obviously don't have the luxury of getting a time machine and going back in time and doing it all over again. But you have the luxury of having foresight now, like not like crazy lunatic, like you know what I mean? Like you can see it happen. You saw it happen in the United States. I mean, you guys saw the announcement of how many executive level ranks broke in the United States last month. A couple new presidential. I mean, these are insane numbers. I've been a part of network marketing for 22 years, and I proudly say that I've been a part of companies that have gone through incredible momentum and growth, but nothing like this. Like nothing. I am just half excited, but I had so much anxiety going through October because it's just like I felt like every day, like if I go to sleep, I'm gonna miss out on something. Like it was so hard to let this thing go. And again, if I had the luxury of being able to go back, I would work a little, and not that I don't think I worked hard enough, but I would work harder in October. I would have worked harder in September, harder in like, August if I could do it all over again. But I wanted to come here and to be able to share with you guys this concept of momentum multiplier because when it inevitably happens in Australia and New Zealand, you're gonna see groups take off. And you're gonna get frustrated. You're gonna ask yourself, well, that's not fair. Why is that group growing and my group's not growing? But now like there's no more excuse. It's the momentum multiplier, which hit everybody the same. It's not discriminating against you or some other individual. It's discriminating against the only thing it's discriminating against how much work did you put in before it multiplied that number? Because you guys know how math works, right? 2 times 5 is 10. 10 times 5 is 50. 5 times 100 is 500. But guess what? Like here's the real sobering thing. What is 5 times 0? It's still 0. What's 5 times 1, which is just you? It's still 5. So it feels like nothing's changed. But the reality is it's the number that comes before the multiplier. And that's the energy and the effort and the commitment that you put into your business today before the multiplier hits. So, Kath, that's what I got for you. Again, if there's any other questions, I'm happy to stay on. I got no rush here, but again, I just wanted to kind of wrap up that concept with you guys.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I'd love to get some takeaways, whether you want to unmute or use the chat. What have been some of the gold nuggets that Daniel's shared with us this morning? I think just even regardless of the whole multiplier concept, I think you've just really fired everyone up again. Not that our Aussies haven't been fired up, but honestly, it's just, we can really see now the future is so bright for us. And I think just that message of, what you do now, but like you said, we've got the incredible opportunity of planning and executing before our launch next year. So yeah, do not wait, Susan. Exactly. That's my advice to you. We've got obviously the Kickstart bundle. We've got our version of the multiplier pack. So you've got so much to take advantage of to really and get that message of priming, right? Priming your body. I love that whole concept. So if anyone's got a guess, maybe we'll take one or two questions, Daniel, if that's okay. If anyone's got a burning question for Daniel, Margie's ready. Ask away.
Daniel, that was absolutely amazing. What I wanted to ask you was, you mentioned a couple of times 2 months. Do you mean 2 months, or do you mean 3 months, or do you mean 4 months? This priming time, because we know when we're going to launch.
Do you guys, Kath, is that public information when you guys are
Yes.
launching?
Yeah, so we're launching global convention. So our official launch for it to be obviously switched on for everyone will be April for us. So
Okay. So here's what I'm going to give you. Let me now that we know it's not some mystery, let's use April and let's work our way backwards, right? So if you guys want the very minimum, you need to start going to work in February and March, like 60 days minimum. There's like 60 days is what I would consider the perfect window to start talking about what I call the priming language, right? Priming. Because we know that pro tandem takes roughly about 60 to 90 days to go into like what we call like the best state of optimization or saturation in your body, right? I mean, that's based on clinical studies. So you can start as early as January, but February and March, you really need to start honing in on that priming message. Now, could you talk about priming today? Yes, but there's no real from a biological, like physiological standpoint, there's no advantage for them starting in February, January, February versus them starting in November, December. Does that make sense? From a priming perspective. So the priming campaign, you guys need to start doing that no later than February. Now, what I will talk about is the momentum multiplier, that concept. Like, hey, if you're opportunity driven, and especially for yourself, not only just other people, but that conversation can start today because you have the ability to go back and say, hey, look, let me tell you just a little bit about what happened in the United States. This is what happened in the United States, and people only had 60 to 90 days to really build their organizations. We have the wonderful opportunity of building through January, February, March, and leading into April. We have a 4-month head start, whereas the US only had a 2-month head start to get this business right. Man, like, can you imagine what would have happened in the United States had they really had 4 months to build an organization to get ready for this launch? You know what I mean? And so from an opportunity standpoint, I think you can have that conversation right now. You guys know that the best entrepreneurs are the ones that have the longest foresight. You know what I mean? They're the ones that, even if it's 6 months from now. Again, I joined last November for a product launch that happened this October. So 11 months ahead, I said yes to the opportunity. I had no idea what the formula was. I had no idea how the products were going to work. I had no idea what the clinical studies were. But I just knew enough to say this has the potential of being huge. You know what I mean? And so I'm telling you right now, those of your friends that kind of have that entrepreneurial bone or that sort of instinct, they're going to understand the potential, especially when you pair it with the fact that, so again, last October, everything was hypothetical, right? Because there was no market to validate the excitement of the GLP-1. Here, you guys get to do the combination of talking about a hypothetical launch in Australia and New Zealand, coupled with the realities of what happened in North America. So you guys have like again, like I said, it's almost an incredible opportunity. Like I almost want to like move over to Australia and act like a citizen and build a new team there, right? Because I get another 4-month head start to build another group there. You know what I mean? So yeah, absolutely. The conversations can be had now. And one of the interesting things too is you guys know, I mean, do you guys do New Year's resolutions? I mean, is that a pretty common practice? Okay. So here's the thing. Like this, the concept is, and you guys can have these conversations and just let me give you a kind of a conversation starter as you guys get into the holiday season. And this is great to do at coworker company events or like family gatherings or friend gatherings. This is a great conversation to have with people. And this starts planting seeds. Do you have a solution for your resolutions? Right? So Tyler Daniels talks about it, solutions for your resolutions. Okay. We all know people participate in an annual sort of like behavior called New Year's resolutions. Most people like come January 1st, they're going to talk about what they want to have, they want to do for their resolution. And you guys know the number one most popular resolution every year, the number one most popular one. Do you guys want to guess what it is?
Lose weight.
How do I get my free radicals under control? No, I'm just kidding. That's not the most popular one. Trust me, that's not even in the top 5. The number one most popular resolution is I want to lose weight or get healthy. That's number 1. That's the most popular resolution every year. I want to lose more weight or get healthier. Number 2, I want to make more money or save more money. That's number 2. Now, in the top 5, I'm not going to say it's number 3. It usually floats in the top 5. Do you want to know what the third one of the top 5 is? It's to try a new experience or to travel somewhere new. Okay? That's in the top 5. Now, I'm not going to say it's number 3. It usually floats between 4, 5. Sometimes it could be a little higher. But to try something new or to travel somewhere new. It's like a travel aspirational goal. So think about it from a standpoint. Get healthier, lose weight, make more money, save more money, travel somewhere fun, or try something new. How many of the top 5 most popular resolutions every year do you think LifeVantage can answer? At the very minimum, 3 out of the top 5. So the conversation you want to start having with people when you start getting together with them is just casually ask them, hey, do you have any New Year's resolutions you're going to be setting? And some people are going to be a little bit embarrassed because we set the same ones and we fail at it. We set the same ones. Just no, serious. I just want to have serious. Like, Susan, what are some of your resolutions that you think you're going to have this January? And you want her to start thinking about it now because it's inevitable. Like, trust me, it's not like they have to wait till January 1st to figure this stuff out. People already feel the financial pressures. They know they need to save more money or make more money. People already understand their health concerns. They know they need to lose weight or they know they need to get healthier. They know this stuff right now. It's not like suddenly you wake up on January 1st and your high blood pressure just suddenly kicks in on January 1st. Trust me, people that are dealing with underlying health issues are already feeling those effects now. So they're already thinking about it. And here's the other important thing to keep in mind. Whatever those solutions are, most people are already thinking of potential solutions before January 1st. Let me give you an example of what that means. If somebody says their resolution is to lose weight or to get healthy, Most people's common solution is I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to get a gym membership, right? Every year you go to your local gym, January and February, the gyms are packed. Every treadmill is taken, every Stairmaster is taken. I mean, every aerobics class, Zumba class, everything is at the highest in January, February. Guess what? By March, April, the gyms are back to normal. And that's just the unfortunate reality is that by the third or fourth month of the year, we're generally giving up on our resolutions, right? That's just natural human behavior. So here's the thing though. People are not waking up on January 1st saying, I better join a gym. They're thinking about this now, especially going into the holidays. Because guess what? As their loved ones and their family members are asking each other, hey, Sarah, what do you want for Christmas? Kath, what do you think you want for Christmas? They're going to try to work in some of their New Year's solutions into their requests. They're going to say, well, I was looking at some YouTube video and there's this amazing Peloton bike. I mean, I would really love a Peloton for Christmas. And they're thinking about it now because it's meant to be a solution for the resolution in January. Does that make sense? But you can't talk to the person. Let's say Kath was gifted a brand new Peloton for Christmas as a solution to her resolution. And on January 1st is when I ask Kath, hey, what are some of your resolutions? And let's say Kath says, I want to lose some weight. Well, how are you going to do that, Kath? Well, I just got a brand new Peloton. Well, it's kind of hard for me to convince her to try something else when she's just parked a couple $100s into a new device or a new gym or a new membership. But had I talked to her in early December, Kath might be like, oh my God, this sounds like it might be more cost effective. It sounds like it might be easier to do. It sounds like it might be more fun. So you want to make sure you're having these conversations about what are some of your solutions for your resolutions now and not January 1st, right? So again, I know that's a long-winded answer, Margie, but like, yeah, you want to have those conversations now.
Fantastic. Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take one more. If anyone's got a question, you are free to ask. And see, we've got we're going into summer too. So we've got not only the New Year's resolutions, but everyone's looking at themselves in a swimsuit at the same time. So our resolutions, yeah, is I think it's even for us, it's such a brilliant time to have those conversations.
Yeah,
Yep.
it sounds like
Yep.
it magnifies the pressures of getting healthy, losing weight a little bit more than just even New Year's. Because for us in the United States, we kind of see it as seasonal, right? January is the hey, let's get rid of the holiday weight, winter weight season, and then we look at like May, June-ish as the summer beach body season, right? For you guys, it's stacked. So again, this sounds like it can be an incredible opportunity like right now.
Oh yeah, there was, Rhonda. So someone's just asked, I would leave this as our last question. I think when you were talking about the power of obviously in-home events or coffee dates, things like that, is there, I guess, some language or some wording that you've used or you teach your team that has had success on, I guess, inviting people to, what are some of the things that you would use?
No, I mean, like I said, it's inviting people is always a tricky thing because it's one, every individual has different hot buttons, right? I mean, now there are like general guidelines that we give people, right? We always tell people like inviting somebody is an event, but prospecting somebody is a process. So let me explain what I mean. So you hear the word inviting and prospecting used interchangeably, but I want to just let you guys know it's two parts to a very important equation. Prospecting is the art of building a relationship. So again, if you don't have a good relationship with somebody and you go right into the inviting, that's like me going on a first date asking them if they want to marry me. Like the marriage proposal is the event, but courting and dating and getting to know each other is the process of prospecting and building that relationship so that ultimately I'm in a position for a more favorable response when I ask for someone's hand in marriage. And our problem is so many of us, because of urgency and our own timelines, we go into relationships asking for people's hands in marriage way too quickly. And then people go, oh, I don't know if I want to do this right now with you, right? And so, because there may be different reasons. Like, I haven't talked to you in a few years. I haven't seen you since high school. I haven't seen you since college. Why are you just randomly messaging me and then asking me to take a look at something? So if you know this is the case, this may be the season of starting to put relationships on the, starting to kind of rebuild and rekindle those relationships. And one of the things I always tell people is this: if you're embarrassed on where to start, like you're just not sure, I go into like what I call like three sort of phases. Like it's like thawing a turkey, right? Like you can't just cook a frozen turkey. You got to thaw that turkey, right? So the way you do it is number one is to start to let it sit on the counter and warm up. And so the way it's the easiest thing to do, especially if they're friends with you on social media, is to do very passive activities like like a post or heart a post. Like nothing invasive, nothing super like you're not getting right into their DMs and sending them private message, just little things because inevitably people are going to start to get notifications. Hey, guess what? I might be on my social media. Oh, hey, look, Christina showed up. Oh, that's right. I haven't seen Christina. Whatever it might be. Oh, I haven't seen Jade's name pop up in a while. Now Jade's clicked on something on my post. Now, it may not be enough to get me to reach back out or me to interact, but it just is a reminder. Oh yeah, there's that friend that I haven't talked to in a while. And you do that for a few weeks, right? Just like a post here. Now, what I don't recommend you do is just go on their Instagram and start hearting all their posts because that sounds really like sociopathic, right? You're like, why is this person liking 80 of my posts, right? So that's not what I'm, just one or two that might be time relevant, that are newest stuff, whatever it is. And then once, maybe every once in a while, they may bite on that engagement, or they might start liking some posts back, whatever it is, because inevitably human behavior is this. If you are reconnecting with a friend that you haven't seen in a while, and a name reminded you of that friendship, now they have also the ability to go back and click on your profile to see, well, what has been my friend been up to? I haven't seen this name in 5 years. Let me see what they're up to. Oh, they just got back from a holiday trip. They just got back from a cruise. And they might heart one or two things. And that's a good sign. It means now the interaction is reciprocating. And that might then lead to, at some point, a casual comment, right? They post something about their holidays. Oh, that looks so cute. Where are you guys going? Oh, the family looks great. Your children are growing up too fast. It's something very casual. Again, you're not going into that will you marry me questions, like not yet, right? So that then leads to stage two of those interactions. And then from stage two of those interactions, then it gets into, again, the DMs and the private messages. Hey, the pictures of your children are so great. Oh man, I remember like blah, blah, blah. And it might be a more personalized message, not meant for comments, but for inbox messages. And that's stage three. And then stage four is like, hey, I would love to catch up. Maybe one day grab a cup of coffee. But when you're already asking them that, you've already spent 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, month, 2 months already building those relationships. And the best networkers are the ones that constantly have turkeys that are defrosting while there's turkeys ready to start being cooked. Like there, for me, if you're like, Daniel, when do you defrost and when do you cook? I say simultaneously 12 months of the year. There are certain relationships that are one or two conversations away from inviting them to an opportunity meeting. And there are some conversations that are just coming out of the freezer. But I'm doing it every month because organically, because some of those relationships, they're going to advance a lot quicker. They're going to advance a lot quicker. And you best believe that, knowing that we're about 4 weeks outside of January. And again, I'm talking about having solutions for your resolutions now as a conversation piece. You got to you got to trust me that I have like 40, 50 turkeys that are ready to start to cook, because I've been putting those relationships into play over the last 30, 60, 90 days. You know what I mean? So hopefully that helps.
Absolutely. And I think Jade was still on because I know that was her question. So I know that definitely helped. I think we're in this amazing time of year where we're having Christmas parties or get-togethers, and sometimes these are people that we haven't seen in 12 months. So again, it's that always, hey, what have you been up to conversation, and we've got now so much more to talk about, right? Whether it's health, changes to our health or income opportunities. So again, just always keep that in your minds too when you're having those conversations with these people at this time of year. All righty. Well, thank you so much, Daniel. I think you've exceeded our time, so I do appreciate you staying on that extra time. I know it's time away from your family at this special time of year. So happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. But thank you for contributing to us. It was so great to have you train for us for the first time for our Australia and New Zealand market. So we will definitely use you again. I know there's obviously some thank you messages coming in now. So thank you so much. Thank you for those that have jumped on live as well. They've given up some time on your Saturday. But thank you again. And we'll catch up with everyone very soon.
Sounds great. Thank you so much. Take care, guys, everybody.